Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to round number 6 of the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. We're here joined by myself, Ryan Barber, and then we have Paul Jackson, blocker, in the commentary booth. How are you doing tonight?
Not too bad tonight, but a little bit under the weather, so we'll see how we go, but I'm sure we'll bounce off each other here tonight.
Yeah, that's right. Texas Motor Speedway always shown some amazing action here tonight, but we do have the drivers lined up in the pit lane ready to go into the track and start their 130 laps at Texas. Dave Douglas sticks on pole with Jason Holdsworth in Nitro Racing. He's starting alongside him. Kobe Jordan from Inside Lane Sim Sports. He's in third position with Craig Roffey from Middle Split in fourth. Riley Curtis, Adam Malone lines up your third row with Trent Gosley and Will Jesberg, fourth row. Tom Pritchard, the Super Speedway champion, he's in ninth with Stephen Williams starting next to him. Andrew Dyson from Simrigs.com DPR, he is starting 11th with Greg Spencer in 12th position. Rolling over the page, we have Platinum Racing Jai Shields, he's in 13th with Andy Barber making an appearance in 14th. Glenn Clune and Daniel Stevens, that's your 15th and 16th. Richie Treminko, Troy Mortensen makes an appearance after months away from the sim. Aaron Dillon, Darren McKenzie, Wade Sheedy, Christopher Tomlin, Maxi Marshall, and your 24th position is Henry Fenton. Christopher Finlay starts in 25th with Luke Crummy. He's in 26th. Nigel Seidel, he starts in 27th with Tony Roffey in 28th. Toddy Maxfield, Hot Toddies, he starts in 29th with Noddy Tompkins in 30th. Steve Hoppett in 31st. Gary Wellman 32nd. Alex Schmidt in 33rd. And Luke Kenny ends your 34 car grid here tonight. 130 laps is going to be a long one. These drivers have 4 sets of tyres over the wall, 3 green-white checkers, and 75% fuel. So they're going to be strategizing as much as they can to be able to get to the checkered flag first. But it is our reigning champion, Dave Douglas, who's starting on the pole. Restart zones are activated, so we'll see when he is going to make his start. And it's green flag. Barney waves the green flag. We have side by side here. Round number 6 of the Skypoynt Oval NASCAR Truck Series. Clean start underway. Dave Douglas holding the bottom line there. Very good job by him. We have Jason Holdsworth taking the outside line as we go on down the backstretch for the first time. Clean start underway. Dave Douglas is still leading the race with Jason Holdsworth. He's in second position. Kobe Jordan has pushed his way up to third position. He's side by side bumping fenders with Craig Roffey, so they're going to be making the fight back in down into turn number 1. Side by side action here tonight. Adam Malone just sitting there behind, very patient there. They have good this race up. Blocko very clean, no contact made yet. 130 laps here tonight. They still have 128 to go.
Everyone's just getting settled in now into that lower line, coming through those corners, but we've still got a couple of guys there wanting to run the 2 lanes there, so a little bit further back. Adam Malone coming up on the inside, but Jason Holdsworth just coming down there, trying to shut that second line down there.
That's right, all the drivers will be trying to find their own rhythm, find their own speed, try and push up to the front. They really want to make it to the end of the 30 laps. Big lap number here tonight. They have a long race ahead, but Dave Douglas still leading the charge. He's doing an awesome job. He does have Jason Holdsworth right up his bumper, and he's pushing. He's going to take the lead here, moving to the bottom line, try and cut through. But how good is this? 2 and 3 wide up the front. Gotten off to an amazing start. Kobe Jordan still maintaining the third position. The top 3 have not changed. Look at this, Andrew Dyson. He's down at the bottom line. He's just taken third position. He's moved up 8 positions. That's a massive gain since lap number 1. But how good is this? Still side by side on the charge into turn 1. He's going to try and have a go at Dave Douglas, the series reigning champion. Let's see what he can do here. He's just sitting behind and being very patient. You can see he's right up the back bumper, but there see Jai Schultz. He's also trying to get down to the bottom line. So Andrew Dyson and Jai Schultz, they have followed each other up to the front at their 8 and 9 positions up. Jai now moving up in 3rd position. At the bottom line, he's going to try and catch up to the leader, Jason Holdsworth. 2 and 3 wide down the back of the red. How good is this? The NASCAR truck doubles the pass. We've got 2 wide here. About to go 3 wide into turn 3. But Jai has the lead in the motor race. He's climbed up 12 positions. He is absolutely on a charge.
And Jai taking over the lead there, and Dyson's going to want to have a crack here as well on the inside line. Dyson's going to want to take that lead and lead a lap.
That's right, Andrew Dyson now in the lead too, side by side of Jai, swapping positions. Who's going to make it out of the next corner ahead? Jai or Andrew? We'll see what's going to happen here, but Andrew does have the bottom line, so he's going to be trying to hold that, and he managed to gain that position and takes the bonus point from Jai. Jai already has it, so he's going to try to sit back and just kind of get into a rhythm, just try and relax, just try and save those tyres. They do have 4, but it is a very costly thing to take in the pit stops, remembering it does take an extra 10 or so seconds to put those tyres on. But Andrew Dyson now pushing quite a comfortable gap at the moment at the front. Jason Holdsworth and Jai, they are side by side. They're going to try and have a run to catch back up to Andrew Dyson. Andrew and Jai both up 10 positions, so they have really tried to push their way up to the front. Looking back, we also see Tom Pritchard. He's there. Stephen Williams brings also against Barber. You can see a bunch of lines starting to form. Andrew Dyson still has the lead. He's pushed out quite a large gap. He's nearly 0.6 of a second past Jason Holdsworth, who is in 2nd position. He's doing an awesome job there, but we aren't that far into the race yet. These drivers will need to be patient to be able to ensure they are to make it to the end. But lap 10 out of 30, they're just going to try and find their groove here. Looking at Special Blocker, you haven't really been in the car that I've seen, but how do you think the drivers will be trying to do this? But we are on board with the back of Andrew Dyson. Looking back at Jai, you can see how large the gap is on the rest of the pack. Everyone's got single file, just trying to manage the tyres and take care of them, just try and make them last as long as they can. So we try not to burn up those pressure sets of tyres. But also in 9th position, I've noticed our series leader Tom Pritchard just sitting really comfortably right around his teammate Andy Barber, who's just a few trucks back, so they'll be trying to get right up with each other, just try and work together and really push. But also Darren McKenzie's also there from Southern Stars, Skypoynt Racing, Southern Stars Racing. They're both 60 teams working together, so we'll see how they're going to manage to find each other. Drivers racing really places nice and awesome to see, but it doesn't mean that we don't have a whole lot of racing. We do have Henry Benson here. He is having a bit of a fight in the back of Aaron Dillon from the team boys. That's how look, we've just got a bit high, but we are still too wide. Everyone's trying to find their own groove and try and work on their own line to try and extend that field as far as possible. These drivers will be here and we want to be here at the end. We do have 3 green, white checkers to play with. However, you need to get to the end of the race to be able to get your best shot at the win. But how good is the racing so far? Andrew Dyson still in the lead of the motor race up at the front there. Jai is also following behind him, about 0.6 of a second behind him. He also has Jason Holdsworth and Adam Malone. It will be really hard to try and catch up to Andrew. Andrew will be trying not to use too much of his utilities, his tyres and his fuel. But he is setting clean lap times. He is staying consistent. 15 laps without a caution. That's really good to see. But we do have quite quick movers in the field. Andrew Dyson 10 positions up. Jai 11. Adam Mullins moved up to 10. Barber moved up to. Darren McKenzie moved up 7. Wade Sheedy 6. Aaron Dillon 3. Henry Fenton 7. So a bunch of drivers in this pack are starting to gain their positions and move up to the front of the pack. But how good is this so far? Everyone's starting to spread out, especially towards the mid to back end of the race. But we do have a few appearances tonight to look out for. We do have Troy Mortensen. He's sitting back in 22nd position from Platinum Racing. He is in the 23 truck. He'll be trying to push along and try and get a really healthy finishing position for jumping into the series this late in. Also, Andy Barber, one of the commentators, the last couple of races that we've had, he's been trucking along in 13th position. He's also doing well. He is now together with his teammate Darren McKenzie. They'll be trying to work together. Same with Shooty. They'll be trying to push along with Andy, but we are starting to see a bit of a battle form towards the mid-pack. We do have Dave Douglas there, Riley Curtis and Toby Gordon. They're having a fight for the back end of the podium. They're doing an awesome job there. 5th, 6th and 7th position. We also have Tom Pritchard there. He'll be trying to lead up the charge and try and catch up to them, and then they can start working together to try and catch the mighty Andrew Dyson, who is still maintaining his 6/10 of a second gap. But enough talking for now. Why don't we jump on board with number 6 of Tom Pritchard as he is starting to push his way up towards the front of the pack, to the front of the field, and try and catch as many positions as he can. Back. We've just had a couple laps with Tom Pritchard, number 6, Skypoynt Racing. Good old Tom from Sydney. He is leading the championship, and if I'm correct, he's also leading the Triple Crown of the Super Speedway. So he's doing an awesome job out there. I've noticed that Jason Holdsworth has now caught up to the back of Andrew Dyson. He's caught up quite a big margin, and he's really going to start to have a crack at the back of Andrew to try and steal the race lead from him. Andrew Dyson, he's really clocking up the led laps here, staying up front, staying nice, calm and consistent. We can see the gap forming back to Jason Holdsworth, but we haven't checked in with Paul Jackson's lock level. What have you really noticed in this race so far, Paul? All the drivers are starting to separate, but what are you starting to notice?
Well, with everyone sort of spreading out a bit in those first sort of 10, 15 laps, maybe, Dyson might have just pushed that a little bit too hard, too early perhaps, and with Jason falling back, might just saved a little bit of time trying to see him catch right up, and both of these guys pulling away from third back. It'll be interesting to see how they fan out as the laps tick away, and looks like Dyson might have just been cooling off those tyres a little bit, and he's starting to pull that gap a little bit more as well. So could be mystery anyway on the strategy and what everyone's doing at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. It could be pushing a bit hard there. Jason Holdsworth is also pushing on his well, so it looks like they both are starting to burn up the tyres. But they know what they're doing. They do have all their race, well, they have their fuel numbers and whatnot, and they'll be trying to be careful with that. But Adam Malone, Dave Douglas, they're working together also to be able to try and catch first and second. That is Andrew Dyson and Jason Holdsworth. But they've punched a pretty healthy gap to Dave. They are starting to fall back a little bit, but not too much. They are maintaining the gap pretty well. Andrew Dyson also maintaining the lead. He's doing a fantastic job at that also. But what I've really noticed here, just like you, Paul, they have started to really push, use those tyres, use more fuel, and really try and get the biggest lead that they can at the start of the race. Texas Motor Speedway, not traditionally a cause of big incidents. The drivers are trying to stay as clean as they can. We are lap 27 out of 130, so we're not even 1/3 of the way there. So they'll be just trying to last as long as they can, just try and keep those tyres nice and healthy. But Andrew Dyson and Jason Holdsworth, it is a pretty big call to make, being out the lead this early and pushing this hard so early. But we already have one car that's a lap down. That's Luke Kenny in the 15 car, so he must have started out of the pit lane or something. But
yeah, Luke did start pit lane, so I saw that when you were going to the grid.
Yeah, so that's an interesting strategy called with Luke. Maybe he was just trying to predict caution earlier on in the motor race, but we are nearly on lap 30 and we nearly 100 laps to go. But how good's this so far, Paul? We haven't really seen any cars make any contact or hit any walls or anything. Everyone stayed really clean, even being side by side like with Adam Malone, and that's also Jai and Riley Curtis. They are staying really clean, which is fantastic to see. But I would have predicted maybe one caution so far, but the guys have really been able to pick it clean.
Well, no one wants a caution, but maybe some do. But it's good to see 30 laps of all green races. So can't wait to see a green flag pit stop if we keep going.
Yeah, and talk about green flag pit stop, though, we also do have some stats that I managed to steal from Tom just before the race. This is an estimate, so this isn't very accurate, but 75% fuel. These drivers will usually start, they'll usually last about 35 laps, but we do have a change for the lead. Jason Holdsworth, he's made a move on Andrew Dyson, but the fight is on down the back stretch. Andrew's just trying to get back the lead. Tucked right behind, bottom line. They're really hugging that white line as they're heading back to turn number 4 for the quad oval. Andrew Dyson.
Have a look in the background. Dave Douglas is closing the end of his tour as well. So Dave's coming back with Jason Malone.
And he should be bringing Adam Malone with him, but I can't really see much side of him. But we do have Dave Douglas today really pushing. The top 3 are separating themselves from the rest of the field. Dave Douglas now in the draft. But we do have one car entering. So we do have a couple of cars entering the pit lane now. We have Darren McKenzie, he's gone through the pit lanes. Steve Hoppett, Jai Schultz, and Tony Roffey now in the pit lane. So it looks like the pit stops are starting to form tonight. Steve Hoppett still in the pit lane, and the others have taken their stops. But as prediction, lap 35 was my mark, and I would imagine everyone is coming in, but these top 3 will be burning the most fuel. They are punching the hole in the obese, and is using the most fuel, punching the hole in there for Andrew Dyson and Dave Douglas. But don't worry, very soon all three of them will be popping into the pit lane to take some fresh tyres and fuel. But how good is the racing so far? The top three are together, and then the rest of the field starting to fall back. Riley Curtis is leading the second pack. He's with Tom Pritchard. Riley Curtis is now in the pit lane, so pit stops are starting to cycle through now. Andrew Dyson, he's dropped back from Dave Douglas, so it looks like Dave Douglas has made a move to get into the second position. We still have quite a lot of cars coming into the pit lane now to take their stop.
It looks like there's damage on the right side, so not too sure what happened there, but Holdsworth going into pits, Dyson's going to cover him off there as well, and Dave's staying out for another lap.
Interesting strategy call. Dave must have been able to last one more lap, but no doubt he'll be in the pit lane. But Andrew Dyson, Jason Holdsworth, both in the pit lane. Brent Spencer, Glenn Klin, and Wade Sheedy. Everyone's starting to come into the pit lane now. We still have 13 cars left to come through the pit lane to cycle through and see where they can fall out with the rest of the pack. Here we go. Dave Douglas is in the pit lane, and we also have Riley Curtis. He's starting to come into the pit lane now. We have Stevie Williams. He's staying out. Also looks like he can last another one. He's going to take that leading a lap bonus point. Daniel Stevens, he's also staying out as well. We still have two drivers yet to come through the pit lane, but everyone else has started to cycle through. Dave Douglas, who did stay out an extra lap, he's now in also, so he'll be taking some more fuel as well. But let's see what's going to happen with Stephen Williams and Daniel Stevens. Stephen Williams in the pit lane now. Now we're looking at, and we go caution for the first time tonight. That's interesting to see. Everyone's just going green flag pit stops. Daniel Stevens just decided to stay out. You just saw him back the truck up into the pit lane, but he saw the caution flag, turned a hard right, and managed to stay out. That's an interesting call to be made. Daniel's still going to need to be able to come into the pit lane, but was that really a good call for him to make? He might cycle towards the back of the field, or this might be a good strategy call for the middle finger racing, number 57 of Daniel Stevens. But we'll see what's going to happen very shortly. What's brought out this caution, we'll find out in just a second. That's a big hit for the 083. That is Will Jesberg. That's a pretty big impact. You can see the front. He's really punched that in, but he's managed to get off the wall and keep going. But that has triggered our first caution of the night. One driver with severe damage to his truck. We do have a couple of other guys coming down the pit lane now to take some fuel. We have the number 57 of Daniel Stevens, who's finally coming to the pit lane to take his stop.
Well, yeah, single car spin, so at least everyone else got through that unscathed. That'll give Josh Schultz the effective lead of this race now.
That's right, Jai inherits the lead, which is pretty cool to see. He is 12 positions up from where he started. He, by our timing screens, he will be starting next to Andrew Dyson as well. So that's going to be a fight that we're going to want to see. But that's very unfortunate for Will Jesberg, who is the first car to be out of round number 6 here at Texas. But we are seeing some interesting stuff happening under caution.
That pit stop sort of worked out quite well for Steve Williams, I think, because he sort of jumped up there. So he sort of pitted, I think he just got in just before the yellow flag had dropped, so he hasn't lost too many spots there.
Yeah, that's interesting. But I really want to look out for Jai also. It looks like he has a couple lapped cars. and Daniel's in P3 as well, so that's pretty good to see. But by our timing screens, it looks like there's a few cars that are yet to come into the pit lane, and they now come in to take some more fuel or to take their first pit stops. But we are quite a far way through the race now, so they should have already gone through the pit lane, so everyone may be coming in to just grab a little splash of fuel to try and get to the end. But lap 40 out of 130, Jai is our effective leader over Andrew Dyson, Daniel Stevens, and Stephen Williams. So Stevie Williams, Andrew Dyson, they'll be trying to work together off the race start too. We also have down in 6th, we have Tom Pritchard, Adam Malone, Andy Barber. They are all together also, so they'll be ones to look out for.
Well, we are almost a third of the way into this race now, Ryan. So, how do you think this is sort of panning out?
Well, we obviously saw the top 3 just before they did manage to separate from everyone else. Looks like everyone's been really careful, just trying to be able to run to the end. They are doing a good job at staying clean. They are managing their tyres also. Also, they'll be trying to take care of their fuel too. No fast repairs for this league, so unfortunately for drivers like Will, when they do have a crash or get damaged, they do have to rely on the pit crew to be able to fix up their trucks. And sometimes if you have a big enough impact, you're out the race, which is what we've seen. However, the drivers have made sure and been able to manage to really save on those save on the damage. We do see a scrape down the right hand side of Andrew Dyson's truck, but apart from that, everyone is staying pretty clean tonight, and their trucks look clean.
It'll be interesting to see if that damage comes into play for Dyson. Although he's got a fast truck there, but we're about to go green now, so I'll let you agree.
That's right, they are sitting behind the pace truck, ready to take the start slope. So they are coming around the last corner. Look at them in the background. Marnie's still waving the yellow flag, but now he's pulled out the green one. His favourite. How cool is that? Josh Jules and Andrew Dyson.
He's going to be getting
that is your front. That is your front runners at the moment. We are green for the second time tonight for the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. Andrew Dyson is on the charge for Jai, and he is starting to try and make a move around the outside. Now the switchback is being made. Jai and Andrew side by side down the back stretch. Andrew with fresh tyres, and no doubt Jai also just trying to be careful and tiptoe on the cold tyres. But Jai moves down to the bottom to try and cover the number 4 truck, or number 57 of Daniel Stevens, who is a couple cars back, so they might have a couple of cars between them two to play around with as well. I think I'm losing technology up there as well. But they are still side by side. Andrew Dyson and Jai, they are fighting hard up front. Jai down the bottom line, they are very close making contact, but they are being extremely careful. Andrew Dyson is on the charge once again to try and inherit the lead yet again. But lap 44 out of 130, the drives are angry. Caution again. Oh, middle split racing, number 85. That is Tony Roffey. Unfortunate to see that's brought out the first caution, but he's still sitting there, so something must have happened technology-wise. We'll see what's going to happen here in the Skypoynt Racing replay. Oh, Adam just gets up into the fence. That's the number 110 of... Oh, big crash. He's right in the catch fence too. And then right into the path of his teammate who goes through him. Net code. Looks like multiple drivers, including one of his teammates, were able to netcode through, but number 64, Glenn Klin, unfortunately gets involved in that crash. We did see the number 110 of Henry Fenton. He was also involved. But that's interesting to see. That's a pretty hefty impact for the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. But Andrew Dyson now inherits the lead of the motor race just as the caution flies. He was fighting with Jai. But what are the drivers going to do now? Are they going to come in and grab a splash? Looks like Jai has come in for a sneaky little sip of fuel and to just try and better a chance to make it to the end. That's going to give Daniel Stevens the front row seat for the restart, who actually goes past the safety car. Alright, so it looks like we got a Dave Douglas wave around. Looks like he was a lap down, so he'll get that back. But that now gives Daniel Stevens a second position. But we are going to bring in Andrew Dyson into the commentary booth. Once I find Andrew, let's move him up into the broadcast booth. Andrew, we got you?
Yeah, mate. What's going on, boy?
Hey, you're leading the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. We are pretty in early stages, but how do you think the race has started? How do you think the race is going?
Oh, pretty good at the start, and then went into turn one, and some guy decided he wanted to use the middle lane going the way in. But I mean, other than that, yeah, pretty good. But I don't think we'll be the front for long. I mean, the damage is too much. The long run will be hurting, so is what it is.
Yeah, and we have had 2 cautions. We are under one at the moment, obviously, but you have shown that you do have quite a lot of pace in your truck. What's your kind of plan going onto the restart? How are you going to take this one?
Well, I can only go as hard as I can, mate, because this damage just means I'm going to be slower on a long run now. I mean, I might have had pace before, but I don't think it's there now. So I'll just go flat out and see what happens, man. Like, I'll probably go backwards, but so be it.
Yeah, that's right. That's a good attitude to have. So be it. But just finally, how do you think the race has gone apart from the damage? Did you really expect anything coming into this one, or do you just try and make it to the end and hope to try and steal the win?
Well, all the rest of our races haven't been very good so far, except for last week, so I was trying to get a win, but yeah, now I'm just going to be cruising around, just obviously still going as hard as I can, but sort of cruising around and see where I end up. So, yeah, like I said, is what it is. We'll just see what happens, eh?
That's right. Paul, do you have any questions or anything to say to Andrew before we let him go?
Well, I saw you got an extra webcam set up tonight for the field view screen as well for everyone at home. So, they might need to set up another 6 for us.
I'll get the pedal can and all that stuff going, but I don't know if I've got that many USB ports, so might not be able to do it. But I thought, yeah, something different. When I saw you could add an extra camera into that little app you're using, I thought I'd just bang on the other one as well, and something interesting for people to look at, or something different for you to chuck up as well.
Yeah, that's right. And just finally, before we let you go, we're about to, have your final lap under caution. You do have someone behind you. Let me just check who that is.
Levo?
There we go. We've got Daniel Stevens. He has charged up 14 positions to be able to catch up to you. Are you really worried about what he can do?
Oh, I'm sure, man, like, because I've got this damage, I'm sure, the next 3, maybe even 4 trucks behind me will be faster. I just got bored. Yeah, there's probably a few in the next 10 cars behind me that'll be faster than me on a long run. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that he's right there, and he'll probably go past me in a few laps or even straight away. We'll see.
Yeah, and damage aside, I reckon you will put up a strong show, but we'll let you go. We'll have your DPR chat, but good luck for the restart, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, lads. Have a good call.
There we go, Andrew Dyson, the current leader. He is starting out of the pole position. He does have Daniel Stevens starting next to him. He'll be looking at trying to get past Andrew. Andrew does have a bit of damage. However, no doubt have some pace, and I believe that he'll be able to maintain that lead, if not extend it with his pace. But the pace car truck lights are out for lap 47 out of 130. But the pace car is in the pit lane. We are side by side for the restart. It's all in Andrew Dyson with the restart zone. He goes. Bit of a gap is formed. He is starting to push. Just a bit of a gap out in front with Stephen Williams. But how good is this? He is pushing hard. And like I said, he will be able to push the gap. But Tom Pritchard's also there. Daniel Stevens, Stephen Williams, all after the number 041. Andrew Dyson sticking over to lap 50 in just a moment. They are racing hard. We can see the pace really starting to ramp up. The drivers are on cold tyres. They will be trying to push as hard as they can. But we remember, only 35 laps out of this one. Everyone's going to have pretty much full tanks of fuel. So we're going to see what's going to happen towards the end stages of this race. But we do have the Nitro Racing Jason Holdsworth. He's trying to have a crack at Daniel Stevens around the outside there, down the back stretch. Stephen Williams and Andrew Dyson, both DPR teammates. They are 1 and 2. And we do have Jason Holdsworth, who is starting to take up a charge with Stephen Williams right on the back of him, really starting to push. Stephen Williams is going to try and defend his teammate Andrew Dyson and just try and keep his gap up. But how good is this? Lap 50, we have the hard battle of Stephen Williams and Jason Holdsworth. Everyone is really tight up the front too. We do have Darren McKenzie, Daniel Stevens, Richie Tramarco, Tom Pritchard. They are all up the front, man. They'll be all trying to push up there. They have moved up quite a lot of positions. 10 plus positions are the top 7 gain at the moment. So how good is this, Bocco? How clean of a race restart is this? They are doing an awesome job at keeping the car straight.
Yeah, pretty good. And good to see some names we haven't seen up towards the front here as well. So I was going to mention Richie spots there, so he's having a pretty good run.
Yeah, that's right, and we are seeing quite a few drivers also having a pretty good run. Darren McKenzie's up 17 positions. Gary Wellman down further in the field in 12th position. He's up 12. Christopher Finlay, he's also up 15. So we do have quite a lot of drivers that have managed to push their gap or push their positions up quite a lot, and getting quite a lot of points. Starting to get back to Jason Holdsworth as well. Darren showing in previous races that he can push quite hard up the front there, but Andrew Dyson is not an easy guy to catch. But Andrew is looking in his mirrors to Jason Holdsworth, who is following pretty closely behind. Darren McKenzie is also there. That's going to allow everyone else to follow quite quickly behind. But top 22 are on the lead lap. We do have pretty much all the drivers, apart from a couple that are on the lead lap. So everyone's charging, everyone's pushing, everyone's managed to really take care of their car. But Jason Holdsworth now takes the lead on the motor race. Darren McKenzie follows him through. Andrew Dyson drops down into third at 50-50, but he's going to still try and defend Darren McKenzie on the outside. But Darren does have the bottom line. He does have the run. Now he has the run on Jason Holdsworth. He's going to try and see if he can try and inherit the lead. But also Richie Tramarco, he also inherits third as well. Just gets past Andrew Dyson. Now he's going to try and have a go at Darren McKenzie. Let's watch this one. How good is that? Andrew Dyson dropping in down to third. Unfortunate for him, but he is also defending number 994 middle split racing car of Richie Tramarco. Jason Holdsworth and Darren McKenzie, they are fighting up in front there, trying to keep or gain the lead of the mode race. But Andrew Dyson's managed to stay with Darren McKenzie there, just allowing to just using his graph to stay towards the front. Now he is struggling a bit with that bit of damage. They didn't get during the race start. He's managing to truck along and take care of his car as best as he can, but he is struggling a bit to defend the 994 of Richie Tramaco. But it's an awesome battle to watch. Darren McKenzie also in shot there. He is trying to gain up on Jason Holdsworth, who does have just over 0.2 of a second difference between the two trucks. But we are just going to have a little chat to Blocker. Lap 58 out of 130. We are ticking down the laps pretty quick now. We have had 2 cautions, but how do you think the race has really started to settle in?
Yeah, well, cautions bring cautions, but thankfully, so not sure what just happened there to Richie, just sort of dropped off a little bit.
Yeah, it's dropping back quite a lot also. That's difficult to see. You can see Stephen Williams also getting past, and it's a bit odd, but I'm not too sure what's happened here. His teammate Craig Roffey is starting to pass him as well. Tom Pritchard's also starting to have a crack as well, but we do see everyone starting to bunch up to the mid-pack. We do have Tom Pritchard there as well. He's going to be trying to make a move as well.
Looks like a little bit of damage on that right front, so he might have just grazed the wall and he's done it again. So yeah, that's possibly what's happened, and it's caused him to get back there.
Yeah, a lot of damage on the car too. He is dropping back quite a lot, but we are focusing on the front. Darren McKenzie's right on the back of Jason Holdsworth. Andrew Dyson just bit managing to hold on as well. Stephen Williams is now inherited 4th. After we did have Richie drop back, he's now in 12th position with quite a fair share of damage. But Darren McKenzie now starting to have a run on the number 11 Nitro Racing. Jason Holdsworth still in the lead as well. He is doing an amazing job at maintaining that lead. Darren McKenzie also note that he is 18 positions up from where he started, so he is pushing along quite well. Battle still going up at the front. Jason and Darren McKenzie working hard together, but not much to be said at the moment, so why don't we just go jump on board with down the back there. We do have Riley Curtis. He is starting to attack Tom Pritchard, so why don't we have a bit of a lap on board moment with the 093 of Riley Curtis, and we'll see what it's like to be one of these drivers in the driver's perspective. Gone on to lap 67 for the round number 6 of the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. We were on board with Riley Curtis before he was starting to work on the back of Tom Pritchard, but now we are towards the back of the field. We are having a look at Maxim Marshall. He's having a little look with Daniel Stevens, who is now back from 15th position. There we go, Darren McKenzie's in the pit lane. He's fallen back now to take his second green flag pit stop. So it's interesting to see. Maybe a couple of the other drivers would be starting to make their way in there. But just quickly going to mention the championship. Tom Pritchard is the championship leader. He is sitting in the 5th position. Dave Douglas, the defending champion, he is sitting in the 2nd position. He's down in 9th also. Then we have Jai Schultz. He is also 3rd in the championship. He's a lap down in 25th. Aiden Schultz, he is 4th. He's down in the Gold Coast. Sims, the co-founder with Paul of Intersimmons Sports Network. We wouldn't be surprised that he sets up and runs Sims, so he's going to be running season loaders down at the Gold Coast for the 500. Greg Spencer's in 5th. Daniel Stevens, we've spoken about him quite a lot tonight. He's in the position also. Jason Holdsworth, your current leader, he is in 7th with Darren McKenzie, who has just entered the pit lane. He's in 8th. Kay Donnelly is in 9th, and then also Riley Curtis rounds out your top 10 for the championship. So we do have quite a big charge tonight. But how good is this? We are having a look at. I'm pretty sure this is Stephen Williams. Craig Roffey's starting to have a run with is carrying Riley Curtis and Tom Pritchard alongside with him. And in the back stretch, everyone started to calm down now. Lap 70 out of 130. We do have 60 laps remaining before we take the checkered flag, and we are just over halfway through the race. And everyone is staying nice and clean. They are doing an amazing job at keeping their cars straight. We have only had 2 cautions, 2 cars, 2 or 3 cars that have been damaged because of that kind of contact. But Blocker, we haven't really spoken to you much. We've only checked in a few times, so why don't we check up again? How do you think this race is going?
Well, it's very interesting that Darren McKenzie is taking these early pit stops over everyone else. He was the first to jump at lap 30, and then again he was the first to jump at lap 66. So I wonder if there's a little bit more strategy there, if he's trying to break it down, go for that earlier jump towards the end of the race and try and make some ground and try and steal that win away from Jason, possibly.
Yeah, and he has gone a lap down also. He was, his last lap was one of the quickest, if not the quickest truck out there. So he is pulling quite a lot of pace with him. So he's going to be one to look out for. He did duck in quite early, so he might be trying to do the undercut here. 35 laps worth of fuel in their cars. He's only ducked in a few laps ago, so in theory he should be able to do one more stop and get to the end. But that is a pretty bold strategy call for Darren to make, but he is gaining quite a lot. We also have Christopher Tomlin. He is in the pit lane also, so it looks like everyone's starting to duck in and start to take some filling tyres. We are still looking up at the front. We do have, looks like Stephen Williams there, Craig Roffey working together, Riley Curtis down the pit lane. Looks like everyone's starting to take a green flag pit stop there for the 3rd time, should I say, of the motor race, if not 2nd. But Jason Holdsworth, his gap is pretty big. He has a 1.8 second gap back to Andrew Dyson, who is in 2nd position. His teammate Stephen Williams in 3rd. Craig Roffey in 4th. And now Andrew Dyson is in the pit lane as well. Everyone's starting to come in. Jason Holdsworth still has the lead, but Andrew Dyson's teammate Stephen Williams now inherits 2nd. So we are starting to see moves being made in the field. Darren McKenzie, with his pace, he's going to be promoted quite a lot of spots compared to the rest of the field. Maybe the undercut is working really well for this one.
We'll be on some older tyres though once everyone's made their pit stop, so be interesting to see, was it too early for Darren, or will he have to really push to make up those spots? Or is he going to try and use that undercut again to try and hold off those last few laps to take the win?
And I did notice on the timing sheets that his pace is quite big compared to everyone else, so he has gained quite a lot, so I would not be surprised if he inherited the lead after the cycles. But we do have Tom Pritchard now in the pit lane. We also have Henry Fenton. Everyone's in the pit lane now. Wow.
Any thoughts on pitting or staying out?
And now we're going caution again as the pit stop started to form. Darren McKenzie, who just made a pit stop, he is going to inherit the first position for the restart too. So that strategy call may be working here. We'll see what's going to happen, but we will go back to a replay very shortly to see what happened. But by the looks of it, it was a close one with Darren McKenzie. Very lucky not to be given a little bit of damage from that car down the bottom.
Well, I'll just go back a little bit further here, so I'm not sure if this is the right truck, because it didn't actually flag up who had the caution there, but they were just caught a bit of the truck. The even pit lane getting a bit loose, so let's see who that was. So it's just after the caution there, so I might have to go back a little bit further perhaps. Might have been this one here. So Todd Maxfield there coming out of pit lane, so I think it might have been Todd, just got a little bit loose. There it is there. Yep.
Darren McKenzie losing, being very lucky not to be involved in that, but Hot Toddy looks like he's gone a bit hot in the rears and he's gone around, unfortunately bringing out the caution, but that's now going to promote a bunch of drivers back to the lead lap who did stay out because they were a lap down. But Darren McKenzie that did make that really big strategy call. He is up in the 6th position. He's going to sit right back to the back of Greg Spencer, who's just come out the pit lane.
Well, Darren's going to have a 13 lap tyre difference here, so the drop off from 13 laps, it's probably wise for maybe Darren to go and take that set of tyres once again, maybe. Not too sure. Might have hurt his race a little bit there, that early pit stops.
Yeah, possibly. It was a interesting call. Like you said, there's quite a large tyre life difference between him and other drivers in the field, but that does still give him the 6th position. He will need to work with that, but he should come back pace-wise once he has gone through the pit lane, and it looks like he has. So he has ducked in the pits to take some time, take some fuel, and they do have 4 sets of tyres to utilise. So it looks like they would be trying to take a tyre per pit stop, but it is an interesting call for him to make this early. Well, with not too many laps remaining in the race. About 50.
Well, if they've only taken 2 sets of tyres, then he'll still have one under his belt, so it's probably still not doing too bad, but this pit stop will push him down the field a little bit.
Yeah, definitely, and that tyre life difference also is going to come into play as well. Texas usually does have large tyre wear because the drivers are going at such a high rate of speed at a tighter track than we are used to. We have come off a few rounds ago, Talladega and Daytona, where tyres aren't an issue. Now we're coming onto tracks such as Texas Motor Speedway, where tyre life really comes into play, comes into the strategy, and the drivers do have to work around that. But Stephen Williams out in the lead at the moment. He'll be starting off the pole. Dave Douglas staying next to him. Craig Roffey, Greg Spencer looking at your second row for the restart. Maxi Marshall, he's in 5th with Daniel Stevens in 6th. We'll just go through the top 10, shall we? Alex Schmidt, he is in 7th with Adam Malone in 8th. Darren McKenzie now drops down to 9th from P6, so he didn't really lose too much in that pit stop. His teammate, Tom Pritchard, is starting next to him in 10th. But the pace car lights are out, so we are getting ready to have the third start of the race. We will have the safety car restart in just a moment, where Dave Douglas can go anytime he would like within that restart zone.
Just thinking those are some really bright earmuffs on the safety car driver as he's going around.
Yeah, looks like he just doesn't want to listen to well, it's been good racing, and no doubt the crowd has been roaring, so maybe his ears are a little bit sore and he's had to stick those earmuffs on. But Barney with the green flag, he's ready to get cracking again. Flag. He's getting ready to wave it, and he waves it with great level of enthusiasm. But Stephen Williams has managed to keep the lead 3/10 of a second back to Craig Roffey. Nice clean race start. Dave Douglas is also after Craig, and they are side by side through turn number 2, heading down into the back stretch. They are going to try and fight this into turn 3. The defending champion is trying to have a crack in here side by side with the racing 030 of Craig Roffey, and he gets past him, and now he's on the charge for the 98 of Stephen Williams. Greg Spencer's also having a go, gets a little bit loose. Oh, very good catch there. He's getting a bit taily on the cold tyres, no doubt. But, nice restart so far. Too wide down the mid, too low pack 2. Is that Darren McKenzie? Yeah, it is, and Adam Malone's there together, so the teammates will be pushing together. Also, Maxi Marshall, they are chasing after. They'll be also working together to get to the front. But they are side by side, no team orders at Southern Stars. They'll be pushing hard, but they will be also trying to work together to try and gain as far up to the front as they can. Laps are ticking down very quickly, so they'll be wanting to move pretty fast. But Dave Douglas inheriting the lead once again. Our pole sitter and now our race leader is having a great battle with the 98 of Stephen Williams. Battle still on. Stephen Williams is right up the back of Dave Douglas. Craig Roffey is also there. Greg Spence is also there. Darren McKenzie, Adam Malone's been split up by Maxi Marshall down towards the mid-pack. We have fencing around the outside of Andrew Dyson. Doing an awesome job there. Andrew Dyson, remembering that he does have damage. So he is struggling there in 12th position, not the place where he would be wanting to be sitting. However, still very good point. But he is holding his own pretty well with the 110 of Henry Fenton. Managing that damage well, no doubt would have gotten some of that pit stop, but the cars look pretty clean, so by the looks of it, maybe just a bit of engine damage, but also we're looking at Darren McKenzie, who is starting to try and make a move on Daniel Stevens down the back stretch, but he does have Greg Spencer behind him, but no doubt Darren McKenzie on the charge, up 15 positions from where he started. He's going to try and push up to where he once was before he came in. 02 is on rails at the moment, P4, and he is gaining quite well with the other drivers. Jordan Wilson about pushing out in the front. He is having a knock on the back door of the podium with Craig Roffey. He is gaining quite well. So let's jump on board with Darren and have a look at his POV while he's on this charge to try and get this lead. Well, to try and get the lead of the race. You see side by side of Craig Roffey onto the back stretch. Hometown, he's from Adelaide, he's from Western Australia, and he's still side by side with Craig Roffey. Craig's not letting this go early, well, he's not going to let this go easy, but Darren is going to have the position once they get into turn 1. The gap is extending back to Stephen Williams. He won't be wanting to fight this one for long. Just going to watch Darren McKenzie here on board after a couple of laps of Texas Motor Speedway. He is starting to try and make a gain on Stephen Williams and Dave Douglas. Dave still maintaining that lead. You can see Darren dropping down using those tyres down at the bottom line here. Have a look up on the roof as well. You can see that he's really using all that space on the racetrack to try and gain up to Stephen Williams and Dave. He's gained really quickly up into Stephen with that bottom line. Interesting to see how much of a gain that was. Maybe Stephen is struggling with tyres, but Darren McKenzie's on rails at the moment. Paul, obviously we can see how well Darren is doing at the moment, but is this what you expected to see, seeing that he did have quite a large tyre wear gap compared to everyone else?
Well, yeah, he did have 13 lap old tyres over everyone else from that short pit stop, but as we said, it would have been wise for him to pit. So I believe he would have taken tyres and also second pit stop, so I reckon he would have ducked in, taken that extra set of tyres, put himself on the same field as everyone else, and looks like it's worked out well for him again.
That's right, and he spent the last couple laps really knocking on the door of Stephen Williams. If the NASCARs did have headlights, no doubt they would be flashing to get his attention to try and get past, but he is doing an exceptional job at what he's doing. Third position so far. He's right on the back of Stephen Williams, but the back field, we are starting to see quite a good battle, 3 wide. Heading into turn number 1, we have the 57 of Daniel Stevens. He's with Craig Roffey, Greg Spencer. They're also having quite a good battle, so we'll keep an eye on this one because it looks like this one's starting to get a little bit close. We do have Greg Spencer trying to make it 3 wide as well. He's really trying to choose which way to go. Whether he stays high, stays low, just tries to punch his way through the middle and get past them both. Greg Spencer looking to have the pace at the moment, still trying to have a go at Daniel Stevens. He's managed to get past Craig Roffey. And he's making moves. He's also on rails too. So, Darren McKenzie and Greg Spencer are doing an awesome job. But Darren McKenzie still trying to gain on Stephen Williams. But Dave Douglas also up the front. You see the gap that he's starting to pull. About a second or, well, a bit more than a second gap back to Stephen Williams from Dave Douglas, but the battle is on for the end of the podium. Also, Darren McKenzie, Stephen Williams also having a go. We have one car pit, but now he's coming in for an early pit stop. Darren McKenzie's in the pit lane too. So that's interesting to see. He's coming yet again. That's interesting to see. He has been opting for that early strategy call, and now he is going to come in, grab some fuel, and possibly guys.
Well, I want to say this will be just a splash and dash for a day. Just looking at that time, but it was a 14.2-second stop, so we may have taken guys again. Stop. If this goes green all the way, or if there is a caution towards the end, and then gets fresh boots, then interesting to see how it plays out.
Yeah, that's right. And we haven't really seen any caution. Well, we've had 3, but it's been a pretty low caution race considering how high a number lap count we have. But that doesn't take away the fact that everyone's racing pretty clean. Dave Douglas, he is a second and a half ahead of Stephen Williams, so they are all pushing along. We've just ticked over the triple digits. So lap count, lap 101 out of 130, 29 to go. Darren McKenzie comes in gambling for us to go green to the end. Tom Pritchard also comes in to the pit lane. So that's interesting to see. Also, Skypoynt Racing, he's the championship leader, so he's starting to make a call here. We do see a couple of cars coming out the pit lane. They'll be careful not to lightly raise up Darren McKenzie. He's a lap down after his pit stop. Tom Pritchard and Andy Barber, both teammates from Skypoynt, 15th and 16th. They should be together to be able to try and push their way to the front. Gary Wellman's now into the pit lane and making his final pit stop too. So Darren McKenzie blinks and everyone else starts to blink as well. Gary Wellman turns in the pit lane. We are still yet to see other drivers come in too, but Dave Douglas still pushing hard. Nearly a 2-second gap up at the front. So he is pedal to the floor and he's going to push this one. He's going to be one to look out for. He got pole. He's leading the race. He is the defending champion. Let's see what he can do here. Or when he's going to come to the pit lane, we do not know. We'll see when he blinks to make that pit stop. But Stephen Williams, 1.9 seconds behind and extending. That's a very large gap. Waiting to see who's going to jump into the pit lane to make their final stop of the race. But Dave Douglas still extending that gap over Stephen Williams, now over 2 seconds. He is flying, he's on rails. There's a reason why there's a gold number 1 on the side of his truck. How good is this to see? 26 laps to go. This is where everyone's worked for. This is what everyone has strategized, everyone trying to get to the end game, the long end game. This is the game we play here for the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. This is the game that Dave Douglas, Double D, is playing. More cars coming into the pit lane too. We have Toddy Maxfield is still in the pit lane. Now we have Riley Curtis. He's in the pit lane as well. Everyone's starting to blink. But how crazy is this? The gap is still pretty much 2 seconds back to Stephen Williams. He's pushing hard. Daniel Stevens just a second after. But see gaps falling. It looks like Dave Douglas now blinks. Dave Douglas in the pit lane. The race leader is now going to take his final pit stop of the motor race with 23 laps to go. Same with Andrew Dyson. Riley Curtis is in the pit lane. We'll see who's going to blink now. Oh, very close there with Kobe Jordan with that middle split racing car of Craig Roffey. contact was nearly made there. We also do have Greg Spencer there. Also, Stephen Williams now blinks. He is coming into the pit lane as well. Daniel Stevens now will inherit the race lead. Ray Groffey in second, Greg Spencer in third. Alex Schmidt, he's in fourth. Adam Malone in fifth, but how good is Darren's
coming out. So Darren's got a big jump over Dave since 7 seconds, and that's growing pretty quick too.
Looks like the early pit stop has really benefited Darren McKenzie here. We did see him blink early. We saw him blink early before. He knows he has the pace. And who said that red is fast? Blue is fast here at Texas. We can see the pace that he does have on his Southern Stars 02 entry. There's a reason why he's won many NASCAR championships in other leagues. It's really brilliant to show here tonight. P6. And we have Greg Spencer in the pit lane now as well. We do have quite a few drivers in the pit lane. So it's going to be really interesting to see how Darren has strategized his friends. Craig Roffey is also in. Alex Schmidt is going to start gaining all his positions back that he lost in that pit stop.
And Darren's going to be hoping this race continues green with 20 laps to go. If the caution comes out, he'll be right back in the mix with everyone with newer tyres on the middle.
That's right, fresh boots for everyone that does come for a pit stop now. But Darren McKenzie still having a healthy lead. Craig Roffey in the pit lane. Alex is in the pit lane. Darren's already gained those positions. Dave Douglas back. He is gaining on Darren McKenzie quite quickly as well. 6.4 seconds is the gap. He still has Adam Malone and Daniel Stevens yet to blink and then come into the pit lane for their final stop. But once those stops have been made, Darren McKenzie's going to take the lead of the motor race for round number 6 of the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. Laps are ticking down pretty quick. Darren McKenzie still making a charge in the provisional lead as Daniel Stevens is about to come in. Same with Adam Malone. They'll be getting ready to make the stops. Dave Douglas is just gaining on Darren. So this is going to be one to watch out for the back end race.
It's down to 5-second gap now. And, starting to close pretty quickly actually. It's almost closed another half second. So it got real fast there.
Darren's going to really hope that Dave's tyres start to die down because the gap count is coming down pretty quickly to nearly 4 seconds and counting per corner. So Darren's strategy is starting to unravel here.
We can see Dave in the background there. So he's got another couple of cars to get around, and then the chase is on.
Those cars are yet to come through the pit lane. Number 57 is Daniel Stevens and Adam Malone. Also, at the back of Darren McKenzie, the gap is closing quickly. 3.5 seconds back to Dave Douglas. The gain is all in the corners. You can see the number 1 truck of Dave Douglas here is starting to take in the background. He's starting to make a move. Starting to gain on McKenzie. Adam Malone, Darren's teammate, now in the pit lane. Daniel Stevens, no doubt, will be in just a moment. The battle for the race lead is going to be between Darren McKenzie and Dave Douglas. Looking at the front of Dave Douglas, we can see the 05 of Darren McKenzie also. So he'll be trying to make the gap close very quickly. 15 laps to go of the motor race, including the final lap where Barney's going to wave the white flag. But we're going to have 3 cautions. Anything can happen. 3 green, white checkers, 3 restarts if this does go caution before the white flag flies. Daniel Stevens down the pit lane as well. So So moves are being made. Dave Douglas is now right on the back of Darren McKenzie, and will no doubt see a change for the lead. But our big moment is this. Darren McKenzie has caught up with a lap traffic to deal with now. Let's see, not sure who that is in the background, but Darren had to do what he can to avoid that, and all that time is now allowed Dave Douglas to catch up to 6/10 of a second on Darren McKenzie, and it looks like it's going to be very easy for Dave to make the move on Darren to take back the lead of the race.
Well, if we're looking at calculations here in the background, so over the last 7 odd laps, it took Dave to catch Darren, so that was about 8 seconds out. So Steve in the background there in third, Steve Dubb, 4.5 seconds to Darren, so there's 12 laps to go. It could be possible for Stevie Dubb to take second as well.
That's right, and a lot of drivers will be on fresh tyres as well, but the tyres don't last forever. We've seen with Darren McKenzie now, his pace has started to drop. He's lost that lead with Dave Douglas there, but more lap traffic. Looks like that's Luke Crum that he's starting to overtake now. No, Christopher Tomlin, my correction, but Dave Douglas is also making moves on lap traffic, so they may play a big part in that. Darren McKenzie is now 9/10 of a second behind, starting to fall into the clutches of Stephen Williams. 10 laps to go. We only have a handful of laps to go, so Darren's going to be hoping that the 98 of Stephen Williams won't catch him, and he can keep his second position so far. But Dave Douglas is running away with this race, and if we don't have a caution, no doubt, I think that Dave Douglas may be the one to cross the chicken flag first and take the first position here for round number 6 of the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series at Texas Motor Speedway.
Almost 3 seconds back now for Stephen Dubb to D-Max, so that's closing with 9 laps to go.
Make sure to have a look out for this battle for second place. Like Paul just said just before, the gap is closing down quickly, just like it did with Dave. Darren's put himself in a very bad position here with the gap. The gap is just under 2.8 seconds now, so the gap is closing quickly. We have 8 laps to go, so the fight's going to be on. Darren's going to be pushing. He's going to be trying to work with these other lap cars to try and maintain them, but looks like he's already gotten around them and they're starting to push on hard. That means Stephen Williams will have 2 lap cars to try and get through. One of those is Christopher Tomlin, who really shows that he has a lot of pace. He's in 17th, but he does have quite a lot of pace underneath him. Looks like he has a bit of damage as well. Might have been caught up in one of the cautions earlier. But Dave Douglas, Darren McKenzie first, second, Stephen Williams, Riley Curtis third and fourth. The fight is on. Riley Curtis is also following Stephen Williams alongside on the fight to get to Darren McKenzie. But Dave Douglas, 2.8 second gap in front. His strategy has worked beautifully as we are going 5 laps to go. We are counting down 5 laps to go until the checkered flag flies. But how good is this? Stephen Williams, he's out having a crack at Darren McKenzie, who is pretty vulnerable at the moment. He's going to be trying to gain up and try and take the second position from Darren McKenzie. Dave Douglas still has to lead at quite a comfortable margin as well. 6 laps remaining in the motor race. Just trying to get live time into work, but we also have Jason Holdsworth there. He's running with Stephen Williams, but he is also a lap down. Quite a few lap cars in play. Well, to play with the lead lap cars. That's going to slow everything down. It's going to stop Stephen Williams from really catching up to Darren McKenzie. However, Dave Douglas definitely looks like he's secured the race at the moment. 3 seconds, and it's still extending over Darren McKenzie. Now Stephen Williams is the second behind Darren McKenzie. Riley Curtis is a second and a half behind Stephen. So this is really starting to ramp up. Stephen Williams also having a run with Christopher Tomlin, who just got past. But we also have Riley Curtis there. He's going to be trying and follow them through. But he does have 2 lap cars there. Here we go, Stephen Williams. He is 8 tenths of a second behind Darren McKenzie. 2 laps to go. This one's going to be tight to the finish. Darren McKenzie's nearly 4 seconds gap to Dave Douglas. He's looking in his mirror. He's going to be trying to line up his racing line perfectly. Just hug the bottom and try and get the most speed he can out of those corners. Stephen Williams, 6 tenths of a second. He's following behind, but we are on the final lap. White flag flies with Barney waving it for us. Dave Douglas, nearly 4 second gap. Now it's 4 seconds. He is flying. He's on rails. He is the defending series champion and car number 1 for this one. But he got the pole position for round number 6 here at Texas. And now he's going to take the checkered flag to win round number 6 of the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series. Darren McKenzie just holds on to second. Stephen Williams in third. Riley Curtis fourth. Andrew Dyson, who has that damage, 6 positions gained in 5th. Craig Roffey in 6th. Greg Spencer in 7th. Daniel Stevens 8th. Christopher Finlay 9th. And Maxie Marshall ends your top 10. But what a race that has been. Pretty clean. Only 3 cautions. Everyone raced nice and clean. But something that I've really noticed, Andy Barber, 16th position. Fresh in the new house. Fresh in the VR. He's been sitting out for a couple races, and that's a solid result. Good job there, but no one can get the rise off the number 1 of Dave Douglas. He's going to burn it up here at Texas. He's burning those rears up, doing a line lock down the front straight, showing the crowd how it's done. What a good job from Dave Douglas. He dominated quite a lot of the race. He's really shown a lot of his pace. We did see earlier on in the race, Andrew Dyson having the lead. We also had Jai Schultz. He was up there as well. And it was pretty difficult to tell who really had the strategy right. We thought Darren McKenzie had his strategy right, and he most certainly did, but he did fall in towards the back end of the race. But Dave Douglas, series champion last season, he got pole, and he's won this one. He's now driving backwards, reverse Texas style. And I've done this before, and I've mucked around, and it's a lot harder than it looks. But how funny does this look? He's gone the other way. He's waving to the crowd, saying hello. But how good is that? I reckon the crowd could put the hand out and get a high five. He's that close. But
if he likes a bit of reverse Texas, he might like a bit of reverse cowgirl too.
Oh no! But, how good is that? He's proven why he's the champion. He's done a good job. But he's definitely shown everyone how it's done. And look at this, facing the wrong way, no doubt. I reckon he's going to do another burnout for us. And praise all the ladies in the crowd. Look at them all revved up. He's happy. He has a huge smile on his face. No doubt he's burning it up a second time. There we go. He's in the pit lane now. He's doing burnouts there as well. But we will go across to the race results with good old Double D in the pit lane. He's having a bit of fun there too, which is a bit funny. He's won the race just by a little bit under 4 seconds from Darren McKenzie from Southern Stars Esports. Stephen Williams, DPR Racing. He's in third position with Riley Curtis in fourth. Andrew Dyson, Simrigs.com, DPR. He's in fifth with Craig Roffey, Middle Split Racing in sixth. Greg Spencer, Daniel Stevens, Christopher Finlay, and Maxi Marshall. That's your top 10. Gary Wellman, Henry Fenson, Alex Schmidt from Wildcard Racing, Luke Crummy from, Adam Malone from Southern Stars, Andy Barber from Skypoynt, Christopher Tomlin from the same team as Luke, same as Kobe Jordan, who is in 18th position. Rolling over the page, we go across to, with Jai Schultz. Jai Schultz, Jason Holdsworth, Noddy Tompkins, Toddy Maxfield, Troy Mortensen. He's back after a few months out of the sim rig, so very good position there. 23rd position, full car 23. Luke Kenny, he's in 24th. Wade Sheedy is in 25th position. Tom Pritchard from Skypoint, he's in 26th. Trent Gosley in 27th with Nigel Seidel. He is in 28th. Richie Tremarco in 29th. Aaron Dillon in 30th. Tony Roffey 31st. Glenn Klin, Will Jesberg, and Steve Hoppett. We do have the podium in the podium room, so we'll bring them up one by one. Stephen Williams, you came third tonight. Very solid position, mate. How do you feel about that one?
Yeah, not too bad. Pretty happy with that, really. It was a good race there. Good to go green all the way to the end there as well, because I was stuffed if there was a caution. I ran out of fuel on the wind down lap, so if there'd been a green and white checker, I was gone.
Yeah, that's right. You did show throughout the race, you did have quite a lot of pace. Same with your teammate, Andrew Dyson, who unfortunately got a bit of damage earlier on in the race. Coming into Texas, what were you really expecting here? Were you just trying to get to the end before you start to gain up positions, or were you just taking everything with how it came?
Go with whatever happens, really. You know, you're always trying to get a good result in the end, and it's hard to tell how much to push, you know, whether you're pushing too much or conserving too much. It's a balancing act, and sometimes you're just not too sure if you're doing is the right thing anyway.
Yeah, and towards the end of the race, you were gaining up Darren McKenzie really quickly. Dave Douglas also did the same, managed to get past him and pushed up a 4-second gap at the end of the race. Obviously, he came in a bit too early for his strategy, but how did you find the tyres and the fuel throughout the race?
Yeah, not too bad. The tyres were pretty good. I struggled with 1 and 2, but 3 and 4 wasn't too bad at all. It's even on the long stint that was hanging in there.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. But yeah, good job with your race. You did well to eventually come third, just about second. But I'll throw you over to Blocker for whatever he has to say before we go through his sponsors.
Oh, jeez. I've got an interesting question here. So obviously you got your teammate Dyson there. As your teams, you guys run same setups, or do you run your own setups?
Oh, Dyso shared me a setup. He's got more of an understanding of the car and all that than I do, really. You know, I'll end up, you know, if it would be a lucky dip with me, whether I changed that I did the right thing or not. So yeah, we run in the same set.
That's right. You guys did an awesome job too. Andrew came 5th. You came in 3rd. But finally, before we throw you off, any sponsors? Anyone you'd like to thank for getting here tonight?
Oh, just the broadcast crew for putting it on. It's great fun watching it back, seeing all the action and stuff, what happens. All the league admins, Skypoynt for putting on the series, and then simrigs.com, Southwell Lifts and Hoists, Benmax Mechanical, Phoenix Smokers, NP Designs, and all the fellas at DPR Racing.
Perfect. Thanks, Stevie. Good job for your third position, and I can't wait to see you next round.
Cheers, thanks.
All right, we have Darren McKenzie. You came second in this one. You had a bit of a interesting strategy call coming into the pit lane a bit early towards the end of the race. Struggled towards the end of the race there. You did get passed by Dave, but apart from that, how did you think that your race went tonight?
Almost a plan. The yellow sort of threw me out, so the strategies were chopping and changing right through the race. But it was good to get the undercut early, push my way to the back up towards the front there. I knew Dave was going to catch me, but I got bogged up by a lap car and he got straight past me after that. So I had nothing left, and it was a matter of just holding Stephen off at the end. That's
right, and looks like you had your strategy pretty locked in for quite a lot of that race. You were pushing quite hard up the front there. I'm pretty sure at one point in the race you also had the lead. But coming into this race, Southern Stars, Skypoynt, did you guys have any plans coming into this one, or did you just take it how it came?
Yeah, well, the plans obviously was to try and get 16 wins in a row for the start of the season. But we've kind of just fell short there. But as a team, this season is just going really well for us. It's good to be back at full strength with Andy back and behind the wheel there and giving it a good crack as well. So hopefully, we can see more of us get up towards the front there and show the field what we're capable of.
That's true. It's pretty cool seeing the Southern Stars crew and Skypoint crew running together. All drivers in for this one, with the exception to Aiden, who's down the Gold Coast. But I'll throw you across to good old Blocker for whatever he would like to say to you.
I mentioned about your early pit stops, trying to undercut and that, and each time you sort of went for it. And was that something you planned to do before the start of the race, and you sort of stuck to it? You didn't really change your mind through the race at all, which I did notice that on one of those cautions you had 13 lap old tyres on everyone else, and you sort of ducked in to take that extra set as well, put yourself back a little bit, but get on some fresh tyres again to be on par with everyone there as well.
Yeah, tyres, they're a huge difference. Once I realised, like starting from 20th, I had to really fight my way through I had the pace, so I was almost a professional diver for the race, but I threw that many. It was sort of throw the dive in at one, side by side down the back straight, pass them through 3 and 4, and rinse and repeat till the tyres were done. And then I realised I'm going to have to undercut because I couldn't match the leaders anymore. And the cautions came out the first couple of times I tried it, and it paid off in that last stint there. I went a little bit early with the tyre change. I could have held on for maybe another 5 or so, but I took a chance, and I'm happy with P2 with the pace of the race. I gave it a crack and fell just short.
That's right, and your strategy was pretty locked on towards the end of the race. Obviously, fell off a bit, but it did show that the undercut really went a long way, especially when you came out 7 seconds ahead of Double D. But aside from that, you did an awesome job to come second. Car 02 came second for round number 6 here at Texas. Just thank all the sponsors.
We've got Skypoynt, Chiona Holiday Parks, and Mish's XL Garage, and you guys at Intersim as well for putting on the broadcast. Thanks to all of them and everyone in the team.
Thanks, Darren. Awesome to have a chat to you, and you did an awesome job to came out second, and hopefully we can see you back on the podium for next round.
Thank you.
And that brings us to our race winner, pole position. Double D, Dave Douglas. How good does it feel to win this one here at Texas, round number 6 of the Skypoynt NASCAR Truck Series?
Hey boys, yes, what a roller coaster. Good to get the one for the season. I guess the first one for the season. It's taken a while, but yeah, tell you what, I was up against it. That race was probably one of the better recovery races I've ever done. It's been a lap down, speeding in the pits. No real fault of anyone's, but sort of awkwardly placed with another car. And then speeding on the exit, would you believe it, as well? So, yeah, to come back from that and that middle stint where I drove through the field was probably one of my best stints I've ever put together. So, yeah, pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you did a awesome job too. You did have quite a lot of pace towards the end there. You flew by Darren at the end, did a good job there. But going into this round, obviously you're the reigning champion. So obviously you know that you have the pace to really bring it on with the field. Coming into this one, did you have any plans, or did you just react to whatever happened at the time?
Yeah, I know, just sort of going off last season, I wasn't as good here, but I was sort of a top 5 car, but maybe not a winning car. So I was a bit dubious, I guess, coming here if I'd have the pace, but laid down that stonker, man. That was a flyer from a qualifying lap. I was like, as soon as I turned into turn 1 and got on the throttle, I was like, oh yeah, she's hooked up this lap, and the times lit up as well. So that was good. But yeah, the plan was, I guess, yeah, obviously once I got the pole, just to save tyres. So I led a couple of laps at the start there, and then just let the guys go to try and just save the tyres, because it is hard on tyres, this track. And I did that well, because right up to, I guess, that first stint, I drove right back up to the guys just before they pit. So I think I did all right there. But yeah, the setup was pretty nice as well. So we had the pace this time. But yeah, I don't know. no plan, mate. Just sharp and race.
That's right. You did a good job too. You did have quite a lot of speed there. We didn't have a chance to see the qualifying lap, but no doubt that would have been a flyer. But how did the car feel during the race with the tyre wear and that kind of thing? We did see, some drivers taking the undercut or some drivers staying out. How did you feel like the car was really handling for you?
Yeah, I felt on the long run, like being gentle on the tyre, I felt like it was probably the faster car out there. But you'd have to look after a little bit as well at the start of the stint. But it felt pretty good. So the first run, I didn't sort of know what to expect. So I did baby it a bit and worked out. But then after that, because of the position I was in after that, dreadful, my worst stop ever, I literally just said, stuff it, let's just go for it here. So I was hanging it off the limiter or whatever else, off the throttle, and it handled it pretty good. The tyres hung on all right. So I was surprised to be able to drive back through that field to get where it was. So the car was pretty good. Never did it feel loose at all. Like in earlier practice, it was in the daytime though, and it was a bit loose, but only once on that last restart it got sort of loose on me down in turn 1 and 2, and that was like lap 2. So I was able just to manage it from there. So, but yeah, a few different tyre strategies. That's what's good about this. Sometimes you got to get those undercuts. So you see D-Mac, he did take the big undercut there, and I was sort of talking with my teammate Riley, like just seeing who's back there, who's stopping, just so I can sort of have one eye on the back of the race and who I'm going to be racing at the end of it. And I guess we're waiting for the likes of Tom, who did pit, but unfortunately for him, lost contact or whatever, lost connection. But yeah, giving it a go, like the likes of the guys who were behind me, I can't remember who it was now, Stevie Williams and all those. And then D-Mac come flying around one of the corners, and Riley said, "Oh, he's coming pretty quick." So I was like, that made me take the bullet and just pit. So made it interesting, made it a good run home. When he come out 7 seconds behind D-Mac, I said, I don't know if I've given myself enough time to catch him here, but he got held up a couple of times, unfortunately for him as well, and just managed to sneak on through.
Yeah, and you did mention, last time out you did come fifth, if I'm correct, and you've come out tonight for the win, so that's pretty solid. But Blocker, do you got anything to say, or are we ready to shout out his sponsors?
Well, I reckon you could have got closer to that wall on the
Damn,
reverse
Blocker, you
lap.
would too. You would, mate. Nah. Good to see you back beyond the controls, mate. It's good to have you here, mate.
Yeah, cheers. Still trying to work on the whole commentator audio with the trucks, trying to iron that out at the moment. So yeah, we'll try and get that sorted.
Oh, mate, yeah, you love it, mate. It's all good. But yeah, no, it was. I think, to be honest with you, Tom was running away with his championship, so very unlucky for him to have that connection issue. But on the other foot, man, I did everything I had to do tonight. Like when he's got a bad round, I have to maximise it, and I got the pole, I got a 0x, I got the fastest lap, I got the most laps led, I got the win. So I took every single bonus point you can get and maximum points. So pretty happy with that.
Well, that's
Yeah, mate,
that's a bit greedy, isn't it?
Oh, mate, it
Share
is.
some
Oh,
points
jeez,
around.
jeez, I needed it, man. Hey, start acting like a champion. Hey, like that's it. I've been racing like a scrub. So finally made the number one look good for once.
Well, let me tell you, when you're coming into this round, there was 146
Yeah,
point
exactly.
gap.
It was a massive gap. So Tom,
So,
yeah, I need to do, like I said, when he had a bad round, I had to maximise and man, that couldn't have gone better, basically.
and mate, that's what you've done. You've done an awesome job. But before we wrap this up, you got to thank your sponsors because, mate, they're going to be happy. You were an absolute flyer tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, man. Obviously, shout out to the team, A1 Sim Sports, coming on board with these guys this year. Obviously, worked with Riley before, but not under this banner, so it's good to see him in this league as well. And he had a good run tonight. Was knocking on the door of a podium there too. So shout out to Riley. And then obviously the Bandits. Can't ever forget the Bandits. And I think that's Super Cheap Auto, Riley's mate, some PR guy at the Super Cheap. So shout out to him. Hopefully he gives me some free stuff for that. I'll be hitting him up for a voucher for getting his first win. But anyway, and shout out Simboys. And obviously the league, obviously not Jai, bloody what? Junior, Jai Junior, same. Junior and Blocker, mate. The Junior taking on the race tonight on your own with Blocker. I saw Andy out there earlier. I was like, hey, what's the commentator doing out here? But mate, good on you for stepping up, man, and doing a good job.
Thanks, mate. That's awesome. I love this league. Everyone loves this league, and it's an awesome league to run in on your Tuesday night. So if anyone wants to jump in, feel free to. Entries still open. We'll have like a pre-qualifying and whatnot. But we're going to start to wrap up the broadcast. We did have a pretty good race here. We had 3 cautions here tonight. Pretty earlier on, we didn't have too many cars damaged here tonight. We did have a nice clean one. Dave Douglas took out the win, but make sure to tune in next time. Looking quite forward to next round. We head to Bristol Motor Speedway, so that's going to be pretty interesting. It's going to be a tight one.
That is going to be scary, boys.
Yep, and we have 62. 62.
I'm scared of that. Pit bays, yeah.
Pit bays, so that's going to be an interesting.
I am very scared.
Is it dirt?
Nah, it's tarmac, but I don't know. I'd probably rather dirt.
But thanks very much, Paul, for jumping in. Awesome camera work tonight. Good job for your win tonight, Dave. But
cheers, mate.
Big shout out to Skypoynt, Skypoynt Oval Leagues. If you want to check it out, we do have skypointracing.com to check it out and grab your ticket for the season. But it has been me and Blocker in the broadcast booth tonight. Texas Motor Speedway, quite an awesome round to be in. Round 7 is at Bristol, so make sure to check that out next Tuesday on the InterSim Esports Network and Skypoint Racing social medias. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.